What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, November 29th. It's 10:55 a.m. and this is the crypto newsletter. So diving right into it, we have the central bank digital currency status CBDC tracker map lit up like a Christmas tree, right? Look at this. We have like almost every country filled in right now. Before, when we were looking at this, definitely didn't look like this, that's for sure. Just like Northern Africa, though, it's like the only country that really is not as filled in as the rest, right? There's only a couple countries in South America, and then in Asia, there's only a couple. But yes, like Northern Africa is the only one that's not really filled in yet. So let's keep going because we had this news today, India to test digital rupee in 4 cities with 4 banks. The test, which will start this Thursday, so in a couple of days here, will be extended to include another 9 cities and 4 more lenders in a later phase. The Reserve Bank of India will start testing its retail central bank digital currency, the digital rupee, in Mumbai, New Delhi, Bengaluru, and Bhubaneswar, with the initial participation of 4 banks, including the State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, Yes Bank, which we know is tied up with Ripple, and IDFC First Bank, the central bank announced Tuesday. Later, the pilot program will extend to 9 more cities and another 4 institutions will join. The testing will be conducted with a selected group of customers and merchants, and the CBDC will be issued in the same denominations now used for notes and coins. Payments to merchants will be made using QR codes, and like cash, the digital rupee won't earn any interest. The decision to start this pilot December 1st was announced in October. Finance Minister had revealed plans to issue a digital rupee in the financial year ending in 2023 during her budget speech in February. India's fiscal year ends on February 28th. The RBI has said the private cryptocurrency should be banned in India. And so we had India, they're going live. And it looks like they started their wholesale CBDC pilot and now their retail CBDC pilot. Then we had Ukraine considering CBDC that can facilitate crypto trading. The National Bank of Ukraine says it's looking at retail payments, virtual asset circulation, and cross-border transactions as possible use cases for an e-hryvnia. The National Bank of Ukraine is considering an electronic version of the Ukrainian hryvnia that would be able to facilitate the exchange and issuance of virtual assets, among other uses. The central bank has discussed its vision for an electronic iteration of the country's sovereign currency with representative banks and non-banking financial institutions in the crypto market, according to a press release on Monday. The bank is exploring retail non-cash payments, virtual asset circulation, and cross-border transactions as possible applications for a CBDC. The e-hryvnia can become one of the key elements of qualitative infrastructure development for the virtual assets market in Ukraine. And Ukraine has been looking into a CBDC since 2017. And there's been speculation for a while now that, yes, Stellar, last December, Tascom Bank, one of the country's oldest commercial banks, revealed plans to test an e-hryvnia built on the Stellar network. Crypto came to play a role in collecting donations and facilitating the purchase of critical supplies after Russia's invasion of the country in February. The central bank said it continues to develop the e-hryvnia project with market participants and state bodies. And at the same time, the national bank, like most central banks of the world, will approach the issue of issuing its own digital currency carefully and taking into account, in particular, the potential impact of its introduction on the financial system of the state. So there we go. 2 huge central bank digital currency announcements today. Pilots going on. And you even saw on Stellar's website last year around this time, Ukraine e-hryvnia pilot launched by Tascom Bank and Bit on Stellar. So pilot will test the e-hryvnia on programmable payroll public enterprise DIA's employees. There we go. So now we have this. We're starting to get into it from the video yesterday. If you haven't already seen the video from yesterday, it's a must. You got to see that one. So this is the video. It's called XRP. The elites call it a global CBDC. It's a done deal, and that's a fact. It is a done deal. So if you haven't already, watch this video from yesterday. It was last night, and give us a subscribe while you're at it. So let's keep going because this kind of plays into that. So the global stablecoin race is on. This is from Ripple about like 6 days ago. 2022 might well be remembered as the year of the stablecoin. Despite getting off to a rocky start with the implosion of Terra, the stablecoin sector has rebounded to reach a new high of 1 trillion monthly trading volume in August and has been on the agenda of the World Economic Forum, the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure, and the U.S. regulators as they continue to evaluate its role and impact on economic markets. As stablecoin growth continues and more use cases are explored in the broader crypto landscape, Ripple has also picked up the pace and gained traction with new partners like Stably and Stasis. Together with Ripple, they'll be tapping the XRP ledger as a fast, low-cost, and scalable blockchain that offers clear liquidity, reliability, and interoperability advantages for stablecoin issuers. So choosing the right blockchain and digital currency solution. Stablecoins benefit from the transaction advantages of cryptocurrencies coupled with the stability, hence the name of a fiat currency. This opens up new doors to further financial inclusion and accelerate economic growth by enabling digital purchasing histories and greater access to credit, and by removing frictions from cross-border payments for companies of all sizes. However, the key to maximizing these outcomes is choosing the right issuing blockchain. For financial institutions, innovators, central banks, and other potential stablecoin issuers, security and reliability are paramount when evaluating blockchains. Additionally, a chain's sustainability and interoperability are also increasingly important determining factors as we continue to shift towards a greener multi-chain future. That's why the XRPL is best suited to support stablecoins at scale. Built to support the tokenization of any asset, the XRPL can handle a high volume of transactions that settle in mere seconds and cost only a fraction of a cent. This native token functionality also makes it easier for issuers to create, issue, and manage any asset without the need for a central intermediary. The XRPL's built-in authorized trust lines feature also ensures that stablecoins and other issued tokens can only be held by accounts that the issuer themselves authorizes for an added layer of security. So new stablecoin issuance on the XRPL, it's talking about how Stasis issued the largest euro-backed stablecoin on the XRPL. Talked about also Stably, they launched their USD stablecoin on the XRPL. And then it said, meanwhile, Ripple is working with the Republic of Palau to help explore a potential government-backed stablecoin on the public XRPL. The ledger's inherently green design is highly important to a country known for its leadership on climate issues. Stablecoins as multi-chain assets, it goes into it all and talks about how the use of both USDS and EURS across multiple blockchain networks aligns with Ripple's vision for a multi-chain, multi-asset future. As banks and regulators also hop on board the multi-asset train, it becomes all the more essential to understand the benefits of public blockchains that interoperate. So why is interoperability important? Stablecoins rely on an issuer as the counterparty, which hinders them from interoperating across payment networks. With the XRP ledger, its native asset, XRP, acts as a neutral bridge asset that can be sent directly without needing a central intermediary. This makes it easier for stablecoin issuers to bridge two different currencies and seamlessly exchange them across payment networks quickly and efficiently. Furthermore, the XRPL's auto bridging feature helps improve cross-currency liquidity for more streamlined, cost-effective exchanges between XRP and other digital assets on the ledger, stepping towards a stablecoin future. As we move into 2023 and beyond, stablecoins will continue to grow in popularity and reach, but not without the right blockchain in place. As banks and other financial institutions continue to explore additional stablecoin use cases, cross-chain interoperability, and the many benefits afforded by public decentralized blockchain networks will be key stepping stones on the path to a stablecoin future. The more and more I've been doing this for a while and tracking Ripple ever since getting into crypto back in 2016, but they just always shoot for the stars. They seem to come out swinging every single time. What they're doing is so revolutionary. It's going to be the biggest thing to happen in mankind. And we're living through it. And this is the first time in history where we can actually directly invest and own a piece of this new technology that's going to power this new financial system. The plumbing, we get to own a pipe in the plumbing, guys. It's crazy. And without that pipe, you can't have that new financial system. So we're owning a scarce, valuable digital asset that is able to interoperate with any network, and you can issue any asset on it. And it's just next gen, man. It's crazy. So huge 2023 stablecoins, right? And then we saw the Bank of Japan eyes pilot experiments next year to issue a digital yen. So it seems to me that this year, 2022, is the year of the CBDC and the regulations rollout. I do expect that quarter one, maybe even December of this year, but quarter one to quarter two, we will see regulations or frameworks set in stone, and we will see CBDC pilots launched in full scale. Like, this was the lead up year, and we're going to see everything. I can't believe that we're a part of this moment right now. It's really nuts. The Bank of Japan will begin preparations to conduct a pilot experiment with private financial institutions next year towards issuing a digital yen, a source familiar with the matter told Reuters on Wednesday. The move, widely expected, will follow 2 years of experiments that the Bank of Japan has been conducting to decide whether to issue a CBDC. And they're going to be doing it, launching a digital yen with Japan's 3 mega banks and regional banks next spring. There we go. You have that they're wrapping up their second phase of their CBDC experiment that started in April, and then how their retail CBDC could be an option to secure a seamless and safe infrastructure in Japan. And we already know that SBI CEO said every bank in Japan will use Ripple's XRP by 2025. And he's a direct investor, and SBI is a direct investor in R3 as well as Ripple. And you have his word right here saying XRP will be used by every single bank in Japan by 2025. I mean, we're not that far away, guys. Time flies, as you already know. I mean, this time last year, that's where the whole time the market tanked. I can't believe we're already here a year later. It's about to be 2023. So we're so close. The finish line is right there. Keep holding through. You got it. Don't get fudded out, scared out. Yeah, I mean, all the facts are here. That's all you need to know. And then you had this, the New York governor signs first of its kind law cracking down on Bitcoin mining. Here's everything that's in it. The governor signed a law on Tuesday of last week banning certain Bitcoin mining operations that run on carbon-based power sources for the next 2 years. Unless a proof-of-work mining company uses 100% renewable energy, it will not be allowed to expand or renew permits, and new entrants will not be allowed to come online. This is the perfect setup, like literally the perfect segue into utilizing Zanj, the carbon credit solution tracked on the XRP ledger and built on the XRP ledger. So Zanj.com announced this time last year, sustainably run securities exchange operating in partnership with the United Nations, announced today it'll develop a carbon credit solution on the carbon neutral XRPL. And it's going to be used for carbon markets to contribute to the sustainable development goals. And it's going to be Zanj.com will develop a carbon credit solution on the XRP ledger for the issuance of tokenized carbon credits in accordance with standards set by leading industry working groups. So the issuance of tokenized carbon credits and tracking of it for the authenticity of we're using renewables here, right? So this is the perfect segue for XRP to come in and provide this solution for this crackdown on Bitcoin mining. So yeah, I mean, it's setting it up for it. So you can see that she signed a law banning certain Bitcoin mining operations that run on carbon-based power sources for the next 2 years. So until 2024, the end of it. Unless a proof-of-work mining company uses 100% renewable energy, it will not be allowed to expand or renew permits, and new entrants will not be allowed to come online. It's the first of its kind in this country. And the governor added that it was a key step for New York as the state looks to curb its carbon footprint by cracking down on mines that use electricity from power plants that burn fossil fuels. The law also comes out, okay. Yeah, that's the domino effect that we just saw happen in New York. It's a significant setback for the state and will stifle its future as a leader in technology and global financial services. This person said, the Perianne Boring of the Chamber of Digital Commerce. More importantly, the decision will eliminate critical union jobs and further disenfranchise financial access to the many underbanked populations living in the Empire State. I don't see how that's to be the case, but obviously she has an incentive for Bitcoin. But as we're seeing here, yeah, that looks like how they're gonna kind of phase this in, this green transition, they're calling it. I mean, I've showed you so many videos in the past couple of weeks here about the green transition, how they're trying to do it, and we're seeing it right here. And you can even see this. This was from November 17th, about 12 days ago. Global regulators need to lead the net zero implementation charge with transition plans. Now they're calling it out. As COP27 came and went, one message rang abundantly clear. Global investment and decarbonization is falling far short of what is needed to get the world on track to limit warming. A transition planning could play a big part in meeting climate objectives. where we need by 2030 to be spending 4 times the level of our fossil fuel investment on expanding the low carbon energy supply. Today, we're barely matching it. Another study puts the investment gap between now and 2050 at more than 270 trillion across energy, transport, buildings, and other industrial sectors. We have a long way to go, they say. It says that, so it was a welcome joint when the United Nations high-level expert group on net zero emissions commitments for non-state entities admonished global financial institutions about the dire need to dramatically scale up their financial commitment to climate. Message echoed by the UN Secretary General. They called on regulators to help make it so through new rules and standards around net zero pledges. What was I talking about in my past videos? There's going to be an international agreement on this green transition. All of a sudden, you're going to see those ESG standards and ESG guidelines be put in place, and there's going to be a whole revaluation to that, or that's what they're at least trying to do. That's one of the scenarios. So many standard setters and regulators anticipated this call and have in the past couple of weeks been issuing a range of new guidelines on net zero claims and key considerations around carbon markets. The problem, we can't keep waiting for the next COP to get mobilized around the planet's existential threat. For the financial sector to scale up, financial supervisors and regulators across jurisdictions must step up and coalesce around the immediate actions that are needed now. Probably the most helpful focus for the regulatory community would be to become champions of transition planning. Why transition planning? So it gets into it all. So be ambitious. So an urgent gap, it says. Yet in most jurisdictions, the need for transition planning is too often overlooked. This is a missed opportunity and an urgent gap. Without clear expectations on what these plans should include, as well as careful considerations around coordination and interoperability of requirements, the data from transition plans risk being disparate across firms and sectors, preventing it from painting a full picture of progress. It will also prevent supervisors and regulators from effectively managing climate risks in line with their mandates. If we are to limit temperature increases in accordance with the Paris Agreement and mobilize the financial system to reach net zero, then supervisors and regulators need to step up and explore how they can enable an orderly transition. So they're trying to do the orderly, but it seems like it's going to pan out to be disorderly, that supports financial stability and avoids climate catastrophe. Transition plans, ideally made mandatory and disclosed at scale, may end up being the light that enables them to proceed with confidence. There we go. And then you had this come out literally yesterday too. So G20 leaders welcome new data gaps initiative to address climate change, inclusion, and financial innovation. See, they're going hand in hand together. You guys got to, even if you don't care about the climate thing, like, or don't believe in it, whatever, it doesn't matter, because this is what they're trying to kind of have paired with this whole financial innovation, this new financial system coming in. It's kind of paired with the climate change initiative. So we need to, watch it. So to support the production of data for the most urgent policy needs, IMF staff in close cooperation with the FSB and the Interagency Group on Economic Financial Statistics all right, I'm not going to go into that, but the G20 leaders in the G20 Bali Leaders Declaration welcomed the DGI work plan and asked the IMF, the FSB, and the IAG to begin work on filing these data gaps and report back on progress in the second half of 2023, noting that the targets are ambitious and delivery will need to take into account national statistical capacities, priorities, and country circumstances, as well as avoiding overlap and duplication at international level. So they're trying to work out the agreement, the international kind of plan. You can see that there's gaps. They're trying to fill the gaps. So the recommendations are expected to be implemented within 5 years after the launch, so by 2028. As with previous phases, implementation will be monitored and published on the DGI website beginning in 2023. So there we go. So we're seeing things moving on this front here. And then we got this. We're seeing U.S. to provide $4.5 billion to Ukraine through World Bank. So like the World Bank, the IMF are obviously stepping up as like the new kind of powerhouses, right, to facilitate this new financial system that's going to be coming in, because these are international institutions, and what we're heading into is a multilateral, international, interconnected world. So it only makes sense that these institutions are going to try to step in and be the big dogs. So the U.S. is kind of handing over those reins too, as we saw in the G20 kind of White House. There was a report that they put out about the G20 Bali Leaders Declaration. I think it might have been, let's see if this is it. No, this isn't it. But I did it in my past video, so you can check the past videos about the climate scenarios. I covered it there. But yeah, they're literally handing the reins over. So Yeah, guys. So that's going to be it for the newsletter today. In the deep dive, I'm going to dig into what I was talking about yesterday about the tokenization of assets, how I believe that gold is going to play a role in this, like the tokenized gold, and how LBMA is like the standard for gold and like the metals market. It's how they're able to kind of have a universal standard and initiative where about the integrity of gold and precious metals. So basically, I'll get into this in the deep dive and how I think this is all going to pan out between the LBMA, the Moscow World Standard, and everything like that. So I will see you guys in the deep dive. If you haven't already subscribe to the YouTube channel. And today's the last day of the Cyber Monday deal to get access to the automated signals in the Discord. So in here, we have so many crypto signals based off the Stargate software, as well as we have stocks and other signals in here too. Silver, gold, the stock market, bond yields, the dollar, oil, and all these cryptos. So if you haven't already took advantage of that deal, it ends today. So I'd get in there, join the Discord. The link will be in the bio. Once you get in the launch pad, you'll see this link right here. And if you click it, if you still see the 33 and 44 a month on there, then we still have spots left. So don't hesitate on that. Bite the bullet, because I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. Yep. So we still have some spots left. So if this is down when you go to it, if these two plans are down, then still join the Discord, friend request me. It's Rob at Stargate here. Just do a friend request and DM me that it's down and you want to get hooked up. I'll hook you up. You know, I'm not here to nickel and dime people. I want to get people into this and get connected with the best analytics, the best resources, because I want us all to win here. We're all a family, right? So that's it for the newsletter. I will see you guys in the deep dive.